Hey everyone, welcome to a brief overview of Timeline Toolbox, a productivity enhancement script for Cavalry. Cavalry is an app I absolutely love. I'm doing all of my projects in it now. It's just such a blast to use. Now I should mention that except for one or two things, this script doesn't bring anything completely new to what you can already do in Cavalry, but it does save 2 to 3 clicks on some repetitive tasks that I find myself doing all the time. So if you have similar workflows to mine, then I think you're going to find this really helpful. First of all, I've designed it so that it fits right neatly here into your scene window. So it's just a nice little skinny column that should be out of the way and easy access right in your scene window view as you're working. First off is the position, rotation, scale, and opacity keyframer. I'm using this all the time. I know that you can go right over into the attribute panel and click these little keyframes, but I find that this little travel, I'm just doing it so often that, you know what, a button was just much simpler for me. So you simply select any footage item and click the button. It automatically keyframes it and opens up that hierarchy so that you can see it within the scope of your scene window, which I really love this feature of the Timeline Toolbox. In the standard workflow, you select your keyframe, click it, and then you need to either twirl down or kind of hit U, which solos it. Good stuff. But I love being able to get right to the keyframe and seeing it within the context of all my other layers. All right, I'll just move forward a little bit, and we'll go ahead and just scoot this character forward, and it automatically applies a magic ease set to slow in, slow out. Now I've limited the scope of what Timeline Toolbox is doing with curves right now. There's so many other excellent scripts out there, like the awesome Curves app, where you can just kind of set your own presets. So use those tools for granular control over your curves. But I find that a simple slow in, slow out is something that we're using all the time for basic motion design. And because it's set to magic keyframes, we're just dealing with simple linear keyframes, and the magic keyframes is doing all the behind the scenes work for those easings. A feature I love about Cavalry. Timeline Toolbox is context aware, so it's only going to give you the buttons that apply to that layer. So for example, if I come here to the boombox and I turn this into a 3D layer, then now we gain access to the additional Z position as well as the X and Y rotation. But when we select a layer that's not a 3D layer, we only get the things that are applicable to us. Just like you can do in the attribute editor, if you alt-click either X, Y, or Z, or rotate X, Y, or Z, or scale X, Y, or Z, you're going to get a double keyframe on all of the values, and that just makes it real easy to just get right into your animation. The other thing I find myself doing all the time is linking my X and Y scale values. Now in Cavalry, all you need to do is grab one of the attributes and drag it onto the other layer, which is not a big deal. But if I'm doing this many times during the course of the day, that means it's time for a quick button. So I'll just undo that real quick. And that's what this little link button here does in the scale option. So you simply select your element and link it. And by default, it's going to link the X to the Y. And now we just have the keyframe, one keyframe. I'll just click that there. And now we have a really simple scale keyframe set to slow in, slow out. This little arrow indicates that the Y is being fed by the X value. And I can alt click this little link button and it will disconnect those values. Other options, if you hover over the tooltips, you can see what the options are. You can, of course, keyframe all with Alt, or with Control or Command on Mac, you can connect the Y to the X or the X to the Y. So if I just go ahead and click there, that does the same as the default. We'll disconnect that. And if I click the Y, it's telling me here that the X scale already has keyframes and cannot be linked. So there's some error reporting there that helps make sure that your project stays nice and clean. But once I've deleted those scale X values, I can go ahead and link the X to the Y. And now my Y is the one that will be driving the transformations. Next is opacity. I'm often just wanting to fade things in and out. So we'll just grab a couple of these elements here. Come here to frame 0. And if you hover over the tooltip, it just reminds you what the options are. You can set one opacity keyframe just like normal, or if you click Alt, it'll do a 5-second fade in, and Control will do a 5-second fade out. So I'll just Alt click that, and we have a simple fade in, and we'll Control click it again, and we have a simple fade out on all of those elements. So just real simple ways just to get you up and running with your movement and keyframe setup. Next, we have interpolation buttons here. Again, they are not lit up until we actually highlight some keyframes. And they just do what they say. This sets things to linear. In fact, let's come here into the graph editor. You can see what's happening behind the scenes. We'll select these keyframes again. A single click on the Bezier button will keep things at linear, but apply magic easing, which in most cases is really the way to go. It just keeps things simple as linear keyframes. And you can still go ahead and grab any of your keyframes, come here to another preset in the case of the Curves app, and you can see that it's applied a different magic easing just to those pieces. So the whole magic easing workflow is really worth looking into. But if you absolutely need custom Bezier handles, you can alt-click the Bezier key, and it will set the curve, the standard Beziers, that you can continue to modify from there. All right, and of course, the step does what step does. Next are the pre and post infinity buttons, and of course, they're grayed out until you select a curve. And when you select a curve, we gain some status indicators that tell us if a pre or post infinity expression has been added to it. Let's go ahead and add a post infinity expression to our skater girl here. So we have a Bezier set of keyframes happening there. Let's go ahead and turn this into linear because we just want her to keep going off into space. We'll select her curve and we'll do a loop after offset. All right, and if we come into the graph editor, that is going to just continue that trajectory of that linear keyframe all the way off the screen, just how it's supposed to work. If we click on it again, we immediately see that the loop after offset is chosen, and we can just go ahead and choose any one of these options for pre and post. If we alt click either side, it's going to get rid of anything that's applied to it. But the nice thing is that you can go ahead and just click through all your different curves and very quickly get some feedback as to what kind of pre or post infinity expression has been applied to that curve. All right, next is being able to add markers into specific areas of your pre-comp. I don't use this all the time, but when I need it, it's super helpful. Let's set up a little case scenario here. So let's grab this girl skater. I'll right click and pre-compose the selection. All right, and we'll just move her down here a little bit. Let's go ahead and add a fade in. All right, so we got our easy fade in there. And one of the nice things about Cavalry is I can go to a specific point in my composition, and if I go into that composition, it does land me on the frame of where I left off in the master comp. Super, super helpful. But sometimes you may just need to mark out multiple points in your composition, and kind of going in and out can be a little bit cumbersome. Again, these are productivity enhancers. So if you find yourself doing some of these things over and over and over again, that's where Timeline Toolbox really comes in handy. So just for the sake of identifying little pieces of this composition, not super meaningful here. And let's say we wanted to mark when she passes the point of the boombox. So we'll just move to that spot, and we can put here like end boombox mark. And once we go into the comp, we've marked what that spot is right there. So we can just kind of go through and we'll say, click on that again, touching the skate here. And then maybe she comes here and she's, touching the other skate. Skate 2. So now we just have a series of timing markers. And for animations that get much more complex than this, this can be a real time saver. Lastly, we have two buttons that shift selected layers in or out points to the current time while preserving relative offsets. So let's take our little elements here that we kind of timed out, and we'll just kind of move these in time so that they're staggered around. All right, they're doing their thing. So let's say we wanted to move these to the time marker, and I click the bracket. Well, they all hit that same endpoint together. Now in this case, it's not a big deal to just move these, but when you're dealing with a composition with hundreds and hundreds of frames, moving separate layers that may be in different parts of the layer stack, way down or way up the timeline, can be quite time consuming and just a little bit inaccurate. So that's what these buttons do. No matter where they are on the timeline, I can click shift the endpoint and they will all preserve their relative staggers. And of course the out point will preserve their relative staggers as well and move those to the current frame. All right, well, that is the launch feature set of Timeline Toolbox, and I hope this is as helpful to you as it has been for me. Happy animating.